let's get started with some backyard basics, Richard.
Well, it's over the years, I've helped a lot of people get started feeding birds. And of course, I did it myself, and I learned a lot. And recently, I had someone, a neighbor, ask me about how to get started. Their children had expressive interest in the birds they were seeing around in the yard, so they said, "Oh, well, let's feed the birds and attract them." And they went out and got some stuff, and I thought I'd better step in and give them some advice. And my advice, really, when you're getting started, is to keep it simple. I know it's tempting to go buy a lot of things, and because that's what you need to start this new hobby. But what happens is it's overwhelming. It's too much. So my theme for today is if you're just getting started, keep it simple. And I'll give it an example of like, all right, let's get started. Okay, well, we need some feeders. And, here's one. That looks cool. Let's try one of these. That's a bountiful bowl. We probably have to have one of those. And here's one. Oh, this is I don't know what it does, but we probably could use one of these in the yard because they show it in a picture. We put in sun meats or something. Okay. And here's another feeder. Oh, I see a lot of these kind of feeders around. It's a tube feeder. Looks okay. We'll use one of those too. And you start putting these things out there, and the problems multiply. What do you put in them? Oh, seed. That's right. I've got to have seed in there. Well, you've got all kinds of seed. Here's some kibbles. I'll show this beautiful label right here. These are good stuff. And this can go in one of the feeders. And here's some. We can put this in a bowl with some of the mealworms. Birds love those. And we got bird seeds and regular feeders. Here's some bird seed. And you say, whoa, time out. And somebody ends up with 4 or 5 feeders, 2 or 3 poles, some hanging things, and nothing's happening. So I would caution and advise to just back up, take a deep breath, start simple. An excellent way to start is a simple tube feeder. It's hard to go wrong with one of these. The birds recognize them. They're easy to fill. Especially this one is really easy to clean. Right through there. And the birds eat a lot from it. You get to see the birds from here because when they're perched there, you get a good view. The other one I recommend is a feeder like this, the Cole's Bountiful Bowl. Very simple. There's no tube. It just put some things in here. You can put suet kibbles. Birds love these things. You can put the mealworms in there, and you can just put regular bird seed in there. The birds hop up here, eat. There's no mess. It doesn't get wet. It's a great way to go. Very simple. I would put one or one of each out in the yard, and you can hang them or put them on a pole. To start with, probably hanging one is easier. You can get a hook, put it on your porch, or if you have one of these shepherd poles you can get from the hardware stores off, that's okay. Put it out where you can see it. Position is everything. If you have one of these great feeders, put the right stuff in it, put it out in your yard, and it's not easy for you to see it. The birds don't care whether you see them or not, but the whole point is that you can watch the birds. So it'd be a really good idea to put it where you're going to be able to view it a lot. I think outside of kitchen window is a very favorite place for a lot of people. And as long as you can see it, you'll enjoy the birds. And really, that's what this is all about. Someone just had an article recently that talked about the birds are going to get by without you feeding them. They're going to survive. You're feeding them for yourself. And they come in the yard, you get a lot of peace and relaxation from watching these birds and from helping them. That's always a fun thing. So put it where you can see it. The location, as long as you can see it, do not put a feeder on a pole, say 7 or 8 feet out in front of a window, directly out front. Put it at an angle. So if anything spooks the birds and they start running toward what they see as woods, which is reflection in the glass, they'll hit a glass. So put it at an angle. So if they do, they'll have to strike a glancing blow or put it very close to the window so they don't get up enough speed to hurt themselves. That works well. If you do have window hits with putting a feeder, move it. Just put it to one side, put it to the other, or bring it in closer. And a couple of things, food. There's a lot of food out there. You can go to a lot of the hardware stores and grocery stores and get a lot of seeds. It's got a lot of little bitty seeds in it, millet, milo. You're not going to get much action from those seeds. You want something that has mostly sunflower meats and seeds like that in it. I showed this a moment ago. It's one of our top selling blends right there. It's called Special Feeder. It's got everything that the bird's going to like in a lot of sunflower meats, which, by the way, is one of the seeds that's been shelled. So a lot of birds who don't eat shelled or feed in shells because they can't crack it open. Wren's a good example. Some of the warblers can't crack shells, but they can eat sunflower meats because it's kind of like a little insect, and that's what they eat. So great food to have in there. So get some good quality food to put in there. And another thing, you can do that, you put it out there, and you sit and start seeing, well, it's been 10 minutes and I don't have a bird yet. It's not going to happen like that. Depending on the time of the year, it may be 4, 5, 6 days before you see a bird on that feeder. It's a new food source. They don't know it yet. They've got to get used to it. They've got to find it, become accustomed to it, and then they'll come along and start feeding. So be very patient with a new feeder. If you go a period of time you think is too long, so you've gone a week and a half and you haven't seen a bird on it yet, move the feeder somewhere else try another window, try another location in the yard until they get attracted to it. Once they find it, they'll follow it around the yard if you move it. Another thing, it's important. You get something started like this, it's new, and you're all excited about it, and you put the stuff out there, and the birds come along and eat it, and you don't fill it back up. Then a week goes by, and you need to put some food out there, you just start it over again. They're not going to spend the energy trekking across the woods or wherever they're coming from to get to your feeder and find it empty. Once or twice, that's about it. They're not coming back for a while. So you have to be consistent. Fill it up. Keep it filled. Don't let it run out. And if it does run out, fill it up quickly. And you'll have a lot more birds on a continuing basis. Then you get to the point of protecting the birds a little bit. You want to put it, we mentioned that if you have it on a pole, so it's out in front of a window, be careful how that's positioned. 2, you want to be able to put it where these birds can get to some shelter. Out in the middle of a yard with no cover around is not a really good place. A hawk can come down and have a better shot at the birds if they have no cover to get to. 5, 7, 8 feet away from some bushes or a small tree is a really good place. They can run in there and hide and come back. If they feel safe, they'll go there more often. And a lot of the birds, like titmice, will grab a seed and run off to a limb somewhere, put it on the seed, and peck it open, and then come back. So you'll see a lot of back and forth if there's some good cover close by. And we talked about being consistent. We talked about being patient, of all things, and cleaning. The feeders will get dirty over time. A good plastic feeder can clean very easily. We've shown a few times taking the bottom off with a Coles feeder and hitting it with a bottle brush. It's clean. But don't forget to just clean it every now and then. I would recommend, if you're buying something like that, get a tray for it. And tray, even the good stuff, will be thrown out a little bit by the birds, and they'll hop in a tray and get what's been dropped. So got to have a tray. So a tube feeder and a tray is a good way to start. A bountiful bowl is a great way to start. Pick one or the other, get it going, then add a feeder later. You may think I may have 100 feeders around here. I really do not. Actually, I've got 1, 2 mounted on poles out in the yard. I've got 1 tube feeder on the deck. I do have a suet feeder on the deck and a hummingbird feeder on the deck. And I've got 2 small bountiful bowls, one with the mealworms in it and one with one of our favorite cold suet kibbles in it. And the birds just hit those all the time. So that's it. But it's not too much for me to maintain, which is really important. And if you can't maintain it, it's not going to be fun. So keep it simple, keep it small, and you'll start getting the birds. And take the time. You're going to buy something, just make sure if you already have them, get a pair of binoculars. Birds are very small, 15 feet away. They're even smaller. So if you've got binoculars, you'll see just how neat, interesting, colorful, and beautiful these birds really are. So good binoculars, a good feeder, keep it simple, enjoy the birds. Hello, this is Richard Cole. I want to thank each of you for watching, and I want you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to share it.